Mm. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Anxiety It Girl podcast and the Anxiety It Girl YouTube series. My name is Akira. I am your host. I am a dietitian that focuses on anxiety. And today we're going to be talking about money anxiety. So, if you're feeling anxious around money, learn how to manifest it today with millionaire Brittney Jones, host of the Manifestation Money and Honey podcast. Brittney is a seven-figure brand, and after growing a community over 130,000 on Instagram, it's safe to say she knows a thing or two about knocking off manifestations at record speed. She has built her business helping others and thousands build successful online businesses all over the world. So, welcome, Brittney Jones, guys.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me. This
Of
is so fun.
course. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm so excited to talk about today's topic. So, as you guys just heard, Brittany has her own podcast called the Manifestation Money and Honey Podcast. So if you have not already checked it out, go and follow it on Apple and all the other streaming platforms. And Brittany, can you tell the crowd how old you are?
Yeah, I'm 33 actually, which when you
Okay.
asked me this question, I was like, oh my gosh. I'm
Yeah.
33, turning 34 this year.
I know, but you're still young, but you're 33 and you're a millionaire.
Thank you.
So it's
It's
literally
crazy.
insane. And Brittany lives her best life on a farm. And you live in Canada, right?
I do, yeah,
Yeah,
just
she lives
outside
in
of
Canada.
Toronto.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's just like her life is just so interesting from her podcast and like the luxurious life she lives, even though she's just like chilling on a farm with her husband. And she is pregnant, guys, so congratulate her on that as well.
Thank you.
So the first question I wanted to ask is, how did you get into manifestation?
Yeah, this is such a good question. I got into it really when I was first starting my business, and mostly because I had kind of hit a wall with my business, which
Yeah.
I feel like we all get in these stuck points in life in different areas of life. And for me at that time, it was really in my business. And I was kind of willing to try anything at that point.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, if this is gonna work, I'll try it. And I had met a couple other girlfriends in business that were really using it and seeing amazing results. And I was just like, it can't hurt at this point. Like,
Yeah.
that's really what it was.
Similarly to me, when I got into my business, I wasn't really into the mindset work. And I had gotten a not a manifestation coach. I had gotten a business coach, and one of her main teaching modalities was that we needed to work on our mindset. And she had a lot of teachings around mindset work, and I was like, I don't care about this. Like, I want to get to the money. Like, I was like, I don't care about this. And after I had a breakup last year, that's when I really got into like self-love and healing and things like that. And then I stumbled across manifestation and it completely changed my life for my
Mhm.
own personal well-being, but then also I took it into my business as well. So it definitely starts with your business because like you feel like you hit a wall and you're like, why aren't I getting clients? What am I doing wrong? This is harder than I thought. Maybe I'm not cut out for this, but you know that deep down you are cut out for it, but it's like it just doesn't feel like it's working. I feel like manifestation takes it to like a whole different level.
It really does. And like I was
Yeah.
laughing when you were saying like just get to the point like when you were
Yeah.
first learning about mindset because I was the same way. Like I had a business coach too partway through it kind of in the beginning and she was like for example like oh you've got to do this morning routine and I remember thinking how is this
And
gonna
then,
make me some money right now? Like stop wasting my time.
yeah, no, literally, like that's literally how I felt. That's so funny.
Yeah, so good.
I wanted to also ask you, what is your story? Like I know you had just talked about like that's how you got into manifestation, but what is like your big manifestation like background story, if that makes sense?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's really around money. Money
Yeah.
being the root of it that just changed every aspect of my life from there. I always say, like, we don't need money to buy happiness. We all know that.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it does just make things a little bit easier.
Yeah,
Like,
it does. It
you
really
know,
does.
so if we can just be honest about it, and so at the root of it, money was my big manifestation and how I changed things. I was in extreme debt. So I don't know if you know this part of my story, but when I first started my business, I was struggling. I was barely making 2K months. Actually, when I look at my taxes for that year, it was less than 2K a month. And I was
Okay.
living off my credit cards and I was
Yeah.
piling up debt. And it got to this point where even if I went and got a 9 to 5 or even like a nighttime job while I was trying to run my business, like nothing was going to pay off this debt. It was
Yeah.
soul crushing. And so I had to find another way to quantum leap, as they call it in the
Yeah.
manifestation world. And that's what I did with my business. And I completely transformed it. And I never thought I'd be saying that. Like at the time, I was like, if I could just pay this off and just live like a comfortable, like simple life, I'm okay with that. I
Yeah.
didn't think it would be like taking these lavish vacations and growing an amazing team and supporting women with their salaries and being able to give back like I do and property decisions and all these things that come with it, right? And
Yeah.
so the big transformation was that, and it's just snowballed into all the other areas of my life.
That's honestly amazing because as someone that is currently in a lot of debt from school, I have over $200,000 in student loans. And throughout my time during school and also during times of unemployment last year, I've had
Yeah.
to live off of my credit cards. So I have like a tremendous amount of credit card debt, but I felt a lot of fear on money for so long that I just felt
Mm.
like it was this dark cloud hovering over me that was controlling my every move and preventing me from doing things and going certain places and buying certain things. And I just got so tired of it. I was like, why are we letting a piece of paper control our lives when money is literally just energy? And it's like, if you change your energy, you change your thoughts, you change your beliefs, the money will start to come in. So it's really just about what like it's like the rock bottom that really starts accelerating you to get to the top, and it's just like a snowball effect. So I definitely
Totally.
can understand and empathize with your story with when it comes to debt because I'm still working through it, but I no longer feel anxious or fear around it because I know that this year is going to be my year. I already claimed it, and I'm just
Yeah.
like not worried about it anymore. So
It's so good. And it starts with healing those stories behind it, like
yeah,
you're saying. And it's no one's fault. Like we all grew up with these stories. Like
yeah,
this is how money is in society. And so don't shame yourself, like anyone that's listening, for like if you feel those dark things about money and it feels
yeah,
hard at the beginning to shift your thoughts on it, because it is,
it
because we're
is.
told that money is the root of all evil and money's dirty, like physical money is dirty
Yeah.
and don't touch it and it doesn't grow on trees and all these things. And so you have to be able to untangle that too, to be able to live your best life with it too.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't think I put this as one of the questions to ask
Yeah.
you, but what exactly was your upbringing with money? What did you hear commonly in your family or in your household?
Yeah, like we had like a great life. Like we lived like an average middle class life. My parents both worked very hard and they instilled hard work in us. So I always believed that I had to work insanely hard for the money I had.
Yeah.
And I had to be careful with it because it could slip away at any moment and save for terrible things to happen. Like,
Yeah.
not that we had like life-altering situations, but that was what was instilled in us. There was a lot of fear in our household around money, even though, we were still able to have groceries and,
Yeah.
like do things at school. And that hard work mentality really played into a lot of untangling I had to do with money
Yes, me
and
too. Yeah.
right? Like even when I was in university, like I was working 3 jobs and trying to
Me
go to
too.
school, right? Yeah.
Me
A
too.
lot of people have that story. And it's
Yeah.
just like, what if it didn't have to be so hard? I had to untangle that
Yeah.
too in my business growth because it doesn't require sacrifice. Like
Yeah, for sure.
you're born with an abundant birthright and
Yes.
more money in the hands of good-hearted people is just going to do more. So you're worthy of it just because you are, and you're going to do good work and you're going to give back to people just like the great work you do here in your business and on this podcast. It's just like
Thank you.
you're helping the world. So
Yeah.
it's going to come back to you as long as like that's your main thing to help people. And so I had to really untangle that and just the stories around the wealthy. Like
Yeah.
not that my parents aren't mean people or by any means. They grew up hearing these stories too, but it's like funny comments that I notice now. Like, if you're like riding with your family in the car and there's like a Mercedes on the road and they like cut
Yeah.
you off, it's like, oh, look at her and her Mercedes. Like questions like it's like comments like
Yeah.
that, or like well, they have all this money, but they're not happy. Or,
Yeah.
they have money, but they have debt. Like you always heard stories about the wealthy families growing up like that, or
Yeah.
people that are in the news and pop culture that are just like terrible people with their greedy money. Like a lot of that I had to untangle my beliefs around
Okay,
wealthy
yeah.
people.
For sure. I never really viewed money as evil or like rich people as like these evil sources. But I've
Love
heard
that.
that a lot from other people. I think for me in my life, like my family, they're definitely middle class as well, but there was so much fear around money and hoarding money and like money
Yes.
being hidden and having to save your money. And I think from a young age, because starting around in sixth grade, I realized that my parents didn't have as much money as I thought because we had moved into a house instead of an apartment. So things got really tough. And I remember I was getting invited to all these bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs and sweet 16s and parties, and I couldn't go to any of them because my parents would say no to give me money for a gift. So
Mm,
then I was like, I had this fire under me that I was like, I need to work for money. I need to work hard because I'm missing out on all these parties. And I got my first job at 15 working at Dunkin'. And I used to work every single day after school and on the weekends like a 15-year-old working 6 a.m. to 12 on a weekend. Like I was literally
I
hustling
know.
for money. And even during the summer, I was constantly working early shifts. I was working double shifts. I worked like 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. And I would go to a different store and close that store. Like I was constantly working hard for money. And I felt like no matter what I did, I was never able to hold on to it or save because I would just blow it all. Because all my
Mm,
life, well, not all my life, my parents would give me a lot of things when I was younger. But after a while of being told no, I was just like, I never want to be told no ever again in my life. So I'm just gonna spend this.
yeah.
And it really turns into a detrimental relationship with money because it's like you don't know how to hold on to it. You blow it as soon as you get it. You don't know how to save, even though I've heard the rich don't save, they invest. But of course you can also have like a
Totally.
savings account or investment account, whatever people want to refer it to. But I've been untangling a lot of that. Like money doesn't have to be hoarded. It can be spent in a healthy way. I don't have to blow it all like all
Yeah.
over the place, but I should learn how to manage and control it and to just have a better sense of security with my money. So I
Yeah.
understand that.
That's a common one too. Like, and I definitely spent so much money when I was in the
Yeah.
same position working in high school, 14, like same type of idea. I did Tim Hortons in Canada. I was laughing when you said Dunkin' because it's like the Dunkin' of Canada. I'm like, wow, did we have the same life?
Wait, what,
Anyways.
Tim Hortons you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, my
Have
mom
you
loves Tim Hortons.
It's
That's
so
so funny.
funny. Like people love it when they come here. It's just
I
like the,
know.
the normal, right? But yeah, it's just like learning that there is always more where that came from, but it's safe to hold it and
Yeah,
allocate it the way you want to.
exactly. Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
what else? Oh, so I wanted to ask you, how did you start from scratch, from like all your debt to making seven figures? Like, what was the steps that you took?
Yeah. Okay, I don't even know how to break that down concisely. I think it was showing up before I was ready inside my
Yeah,
business was a big thing. And through that, you'll believe in yourself differently, which I think is
for
really
sure.
important. And definitely the money mindset work I did transformed everything, which is really what we're talking about, peeling back the layers on what my beliefs are, my doubts about it coming in, my doubts about clients coming in, my doubts about being able to hold it. Because for a long time, I feared like, well, I just got all these great clients or I just made all this growth inside my business. Like, what if it's all gone tomorrow? Like,
Yeah,
I
that's how I
couldn't.
feel too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when's the other shoe gonna drop? Like this isn't sustainable or it's a hard fall from the top. And so knowing that there's always going to be something that you need to work on with your money, I think is really important to hear because there's a new level, new devil every single time.
Yeah.
And it gets easier, like it's like definitely I can move my thoughts quicker than ever before
Yeah.
and it doesn't take as much journaling work and whatever else. I can do them in the moment sometimes. But there's always going to be the next level when you're growing with it, and you're going to learn how to hold it differently as you go.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to take a long time. I always hated hearing this at the beginning where people would say to me in business, like, well, you're going to struggle for your first 5 years. I don't know if
Yeah,
anyone's ever said
yeah.
that.
I refuse that.
Right? Like, why are we putting
Yeah.
this out into the world? I have no
Yeah.
idea, but people hold on to that. And when you allow yourself to receive and you see yourself on a bigger level, like that, things can really shift very
Yeah, for
quickly in
sure.
a matter of time.
Yeah. I think I did the same thing as you because at first when I started my business, I wasn't really like treating it seriously and I was kind of just letting it like do whatever. But then when I got
Totally.
more serious about it, I started showing up as if I was already the person that I wanted to be. And that's like what's the
Exactly.
most important thing. Because before I was like so scared to be seen. Like even though I was posting TikToks and things like that, I was so scared to start doing lives and things like that. And one day I just woke up with the confidence to do it. And I just did. And ever since it's been a snowball effect of me just constantly doing Instagram lives and now I'm doing TikTok lives and now I'm doing YouTube and now I'm doing podcast features. So like when you start really operating from the person that you want to be, all these doors just open up and your confidence just boost. Like it's crazy. So I
Yeah, and
definitely
it's
understand that for sure.
yeah, and it's an energy people can feel. Like people want to be around people that are the movers and the shakers. They don't want to
Yeah.
be around people that are the dark rain clouds, right? And I say that as someone that was a dark rain cloud. Like that
Me
is
too.
not a shame thing. Like my mindset was through the tubes. Like I'm
Yeah.
surprised I even had friends. Like I don't know how that
I know,
happened.
yeah, no, trust me, me too. I used to be
Right?
so pessimistic and just negative. And I also have OCD. So as a kid, I was always so anxious and fearful around anything bad happening at any given time. Like if anything good happened, my mind would be like, all right, what's bad is going to happen next? Like I was always just prepared for the worst. And I just had the worst mindset. And my friends are all shocked at how different I am now because I think so more positively now. And I always am working on my money mindset. And it really is just crazy how you can go from like being so pessimistic to so optimistic. But it's honestly amazing. It's been amazing ever since.
Yeah, and you're manifesting 100% of the time anyways.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
whether you decide to learn how to not control your thoughts, but just position them in a different way or not, like you're manifesting. So whatever you think
Exactly.
about,
Yeah.
you bring about.
Exactly. And it's crazy. This is like really random, but I feel like I manifested two things this morning. One, I had a dream that I broke my nail and I woke up and I broke my nail. And then I was doing my makeup this morning, and for some reason, my makeup bottle, when it opens up, it like explodes everywhere, but you don't see it happening. I'll just see like a random droplet of like brown foundation on the wall. I'm like, how the hell did that get there? And I was thinking today, I was like, I hope that doesn't happen. And then like it literally happened. And I was like, I'm like thinking these things and they keep happening. I need to stop thinking about these things and think more positively. And then I start using my affirmations. And one of the things you said was that you felt as though you had to work really hard for money. And one of the affirmations that I've been reciting recently is the less I do, the more money I make. Because I've been trying to
Mm,
reprogram my mind into not having to constantly feel like I have to keep working hard and hustling to make money. So
yeah,
that's been like a real game changer for me as an affirmation. So I definitely
I
feel you
love
on that
that.
as well. Yeah.
I love that one. When I say too that everyone could add to that as well is like the more fun I have, the more money I make too. So
Oh, that's
like
so nice,
yeah, and I
actually.
I used to go out like shopping, like because I was in that like controlled state of like gotta like write another email to hopefully get a client and like
Yeah,
how's it all gonna
yeah,
come to, like that franticness. And so my mentor at the time to help me pull out of that, she'd be like, just go to the mall. What if you were walking through the mall today and even if you weren't buying anything, you landed a client while you were there? The like email came while you were out having fun. And I was like, okay. And
yes.
so I started doing that. And so like pick your activity. Like maybe while you're getting your Starbucks every day, like you get a client or you get
Yeah.
a brand reaching out that wants to work with you or whatever the case may be. It's just like have fun with those little experiences too.
That's amazing. I'm gonna add
Mm.
that to my daily
Yeah.
affirmations. The more fun I have, the more money I make. Because I had
Mhm.
another one that was similar to that. It was I forgot what it was. It might come to me later, but I'm adding
Yeah.
that to my list. That's amazing.
Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask you if you can share with the audience how much money you made last year as a 33-year-old millionaire.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so my taxes aren't done. I saw this question
Okay.
this morning and I was just like, ah, okay, my taxes aren't done. But I do share a lot of my like background of my finances all the time on my social media. So if you guys come
Yeah.
follow me on Instagram, once that's all settled, I'll share some like tidbits with you guys, but
Yeah.
I
So
don't
make sure
have
you
it
guys are
done.
following her. It's Brittany CEO, right? Brittany dot
Yeah,
CEO.
Brittany CEO. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And
Yeah,
Brittany is Brittney
that's
CEO.
right. You got
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. And so this is a question I get a lot from people myself. And people are always asking, like, how is it possible to manifest money? Like they can't grasp their head around the concept that money is energy and it's not like um what it's really all like put out to be.
Yeah. No, this is a really good question because I think money is perhaps one of the hardest things to manifest, even though there is no like hard or easy in the manifestation world. It's
Yeah.
not any harder for someone, for the universe, for God, angels, whatever you believe in. It's not harder to send you $2 million as it is
Yeah.
$2. But we have our own emotions tied up into it as human beings, like living in the 3D world. So money just has way more emotions behind it than manifesting like a free coffee, right? Like, who
Yeah.
cares if you get a free coffee? Like, you're
Yeah.
not upset if you don't, right? So, I think that that makes it a lot harder for us to even wrap our heads around it, especially me. I didn't start out being like, sweet, I'm gonna manifest a client. It was like, okay, but what if this happens and what if it
Yeah.
doesn't?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? So I think the best way you can start with this is to try and do it a little bit more lighthearted so that you can actually get some evidence for your brain that it is working. And so the
Yeah.
best way you can do this is if you were to take out a blank sheet of paper, like anyone that's listening, that's like, I don't really know how I could do this. Take out a blank sheet of paper and I want you to write down all the ways money could come to you today.
Yeah.
So if you're in a business, there's probably lots of like ways you could imagine that could come in. Maybe a client, maybe a brand reaches out, whatever. What if, though, someone did pay for your coffee today and you didn't have to spend the $5 on it?
Exactly. Yeah, that's true.
What, right? Like, what if a check came in the mail for $100 you weren't expecting? What if you got a random refund on your credit card today that you didn't know was coming through?
Yeah.
What if someone decides to bring an opportunity your way that you've never thought of before? Like, I don't know. There's so many different ways that money could come to you today, but I need you to see that potential. And so if you can
Yeah.
write out and brainstorm tons of ways that this could come through on paper, that's step number one. Because what I want you to be able to do with this when you're first learning how to do this is not attach yourself to how it's going to come. Because
Yeah.
oftentimes we'll test it, right? I used to, like, okay, you think I can manifest a free cup of coffee? Let's go time. Let's see if
Yeah.
this happens today. And
Yeah.
like, you can't test the universe. The universe is
Yeah.
like, no, like, not
Yeah.
happening. And what if the universe wanted to bring you $100 today, not a $5 coffee? And you're like cupping its hands behind its back.
Yeah.
It's trying to send you more abundance. And you're like, no, I just want the $5 coffee. And it's like, I'm trying to gift you here. So if you can get out of like pigeonholing it like that and be open to all the possibilities, the
Yeah.
universe is always trying to bring you this or something better. So allow it to be that way with money too. And so practice this experiment and start to see how things are coming in for you. It's going to come through the path of least resistance, which means if
Yes.
you got your emotions tied up in your business and you need a client, it ain't coming through that way today. It's
Yeah.
going to be a random check in the mail that you literally didn't expect until you start to get used to the receiving pattern and how that feels and that expectation. And then you can start to direct it more to like, okay, I want a 20K month in my business. I want a 100K month, whatever that is.
That's actually a really good idea because I was just thinking yesterday, actually. I've been working through this belief that I feel like I can only make money through my current 9 to 5 and
Mm.
only through my business. And I feel like I'm closing myself off from the fact that I can literally get money from anywhere. Like I can go outside, find money on the ground. I can find money in my mailbox. I can get a random check. Like there's so many different ways and channels of getting money. And I don't have to only get it through my job or my business, but my logical brain is still so logical. And it's like, no, you can only get money from this and that. And I'm trying to just really open up. So I'm also going to do that as well. I'm going to be listening to this and just like write down everything he said because I like the affirmation. I also like that idea. So I'm gonna start doing that every morning. Like, what are different ways I can get money today? And that's gonna be like a
I
real
love it.
expander for me as well. So that's really cool.
Yeah, good. I'm glad.
And I've had someone ask me, when you manifest money, does it appear out of thin air? Like, has it happened to you before?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no, because I don't want people to feel like it's magic. Like it's
Exactly.
just like,
Yeah.
like that's not how it
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
I would say the opportunities start to feel like they come out of nowhere. They were
Yeah.
there the whole time, and you'll start to be able to pick up on that the more and more that this happens because you'll be able to look back in hindsight and go, oh, I see how that was like already conspiring behind the scenes to come to me. But as
Yeah.
soon as you become a match for it, you put yourself on the same vibrational plane as all of those experiences, and they come to you very quickly. So this
Yeah.
is where it feels like a random client comes out of thin air and is like landing in your DMs asking to work with you. Or in your case, maybe a brand reaches out and wants to sponsor your podcast and you like
Yeah.
weren't even thinking about that. So it
Yeah.
seems like it comes out of thin air or like the check that randomly shows up, but like think about it. The check had to have already been in the mail by the time you like this was already conspiring. So it's not like
Yeah.
not magic. There is a lot of science behind it, and my brain really needed that to understand this, like
Yes.
because
Yeah.
that
Me
was so
too.
logical, right?
Yeah.
So this is if anyone cares, this is quantum physics and a really
Yeah.
good book to read that is not about money, but it's about manifestation that can help you like ground into this science nature is called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by
Okay.
Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, it's such a good book. I read it all the time and I take something from it every single time, but it'll help you get in this more like science nature instead of feeling like it's just like, oh, snap your fingers and poof, it's like
Yeah.
here. It's because it's not that,
Okay, yeah, I definitely need to get that book because I remember when I first started manifesting money, I thought it would come out of thin air. And then when it didn't, I'd be like, I knew this wouldn't work. I would get
right?
so mad. Yeah. But
Yeah,
when I got into the mindset more, I started like a random stranger zelled me by accident once. I got a random check from my job, like an old job that I had years ago. I got
right?
a refund on something else. Like it started coming out of nowhere, and it was like the most randomest thing ever. So it definitely does work. But one thing I know a lot of people have an issue with also is they don't understand how do you tune into the frequency of money? Like how do you align yourself with the vibration of money?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
do you have
such a
any,
good question.
yeah, do you have any tips around that?
I would say it's more about letting go of your fears and doubts than it is about like how do I like do something to get on the vibration because
Yeah.
we are all like born on the vibration of it. It's your stories about it that are holding you down right now and I still do this all the time. It's not like you do
Yeah.
this once and then you're like a match for it. So I have this exercise that I do, this manifestation exercise that I share with my clients, but in that exercise I have you write down like what are your fears, worries, doubts, disbeliefs, weird thoughts about this happening or coming true right now that is just like there's no way or like how would this even happen? And get those all out on paper for yourself because once you can do that, it's out of your body and it's out of your energy and you can choose a different story. And so then you
Yes.
can look at all of them and say like is this ultimately true? Is it ultimately true that you can't have a client come through this week.
Yeah.
No, look at how much you're showing up on social media. Like I could just combat that in 2 seconds for you, right? So getting all of that out just clears you back to the vibration. Like you're
Yeah.
already born with this.
That makes so much sense for sure. So it's just about just continuously working through your money mindset and your money fears and just clearing them out.
Yeah, and it's frustrating at times, you guys,
It
because
is.
like some days I felt like I was doing it 30 times a day, especially at the beginning, because it was
Yeah.
just, it was so ingrained in me. I was just like, this is not working, you know? But and as you go, it gets easier, and I don't have to do that every day now, or even
Yeah.
every week.
For sure. And do you think when it comes to money manifestation, is it more physical work or is it more mindset work? Because I know a lot of people, and it's something that I've realized recently is that I kept doing more physical work and not as much mindset work. But I've heard it's like 95% mindset and 5% physical. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I would say it's both. And I think it's actually funny that you were doing mostly the action work because
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, people miss the action steps with it. They think that they can just like sit down and sit on the couch and like, okay, I'm gonna manifest a Range Rover. Like that's literally not how it happens. we were saying before that you have to act as your higher level self, like with your
Yeah.
confidence and growing your business. And it's the same way with this. So, like, let's say you were manifesting a Range Rover. I'm just picking that because that was one of my cars.
Yeah.
And so you have to start showing up as that version of you that drives the Range Rover, that expects and knows how to walk into that dealership. And you have to start taking those action steps. So, it is the mindset work that we're talking about untangling all those stories and your beliefs behind it. But then also, you have to start taking the steps towards the manifestation because the
Yes.
universe needs to see a level of seriousness with
Yeah.
it. And so in the Range Rover example, when I was manifesting my car, that meant like, okay, I'm working on all the mindset stuff and I'm going to book an appointment to test drive it at the dealership. And I'm
Yes.
going to look up the specs online and I'm going to pick out my outfit when I go get to this car and like the lip gloss I'm going to keep in the console and the Starbucks orders I'm gonna
It girl
get and my
stuff.
cool new, yeah, like you do your thing that like lights you up that you would be doing in that car. And all of a sudden, do you know what started to happen? Within 48 hours, I started landing all of these clients out of thin air.
Yeah.
And I suddenly had the money for the down payment and I could go in and get the car a couple days later. But had
Yeah.
I have never done that, the conversations with those clients like literally never would have happened because I
Yeah.
wasn't on the same field as them. So that's why it's so important that you take the action with it too.
Yes, for sure, for sure. And I definitely do see a major difference than just because before I thought it was more so just like at first I was more so just like saying things and hoping it would happen. But then I started
Yeah.
like overly working towards it. And I was like, all right,
Mm,
I can't be overworking myself if I'm trying to affirm that the less I do, the more money I make. So I need to like there needs to be a balance. So
yeah.
now I find I'm trying to find more time for joy and happiness by just relaxing more and posting
Yeah.
whenever I want and not out of force and just continuously working my mindset like gratitude journaling, scripting, affirmations, subliminals, like anything I do it all. Like hypnosis. Like I literally like
Yeah.
I'm constantly working on my mindset. So
Yeah.
it
When you're
definitely
flipping
makes
like from that place with the action steps, it's about the trust then. So like if you
yes,
find
yes,
yourself in that place where you're taking a lot of action, I've been there too, because I we default to the hustle, right? You and I
yeah,
grew up just we'll just outwork it.
yeah.
We'll just work harder then. And
Yeah,
so that's kind of like what's manifesting for you in this situation. And so it's like it's trust. It's like trusting that you did enough this week, trusting that the post is going to reach the right people,
yeah.
trusting that you've done your part and now the universe is going to do their part.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's really that's like the thing is the trust part because it's like people would tell you, oh, you have to post at this time for the algorithm to do to, like to work in your favor. And like I've been trying to get into my head that the algorithm doesn't control me. I control my circumstances. So if I post a video, I expect it to go viral, not because it's I'm doing it at a time of the algorithm or whatever. Like I don't let the algorithm like define whatever I post. Like whenever I post, I literally affirm all my posts go viral.
Yeah, I
So it's like
actually
I
did a
don't.
post like last summer and it was like you are the algorithm baby. Like
Yeah.
you don't need Instagram's algorithm. You are the
Yeah.
algorithm. Like you're in
Exactly.
control.
Exactly. Exactly. And what are
Yeah.
some things you want people to understand about manifesting money?
You're not greedy for wanting more. I
Yeah.
think that we all have times where, and of course, we look around the world and it's like, who am I? Like, I've had many moments like, who am I to have all this money? And, there's people
Yeah.
suffering. And it's just not greedy to want more because your money will only amplify more of what you are, and you're a good, kind-hearted person. And so that will just get amplified out into the world from there. And when your needs are taken care of, and you're not worrying about debt behind the scenes or how you can pay for groceries or how you're going to fix your car or whatever else is coming up, like you can take care of more people and it will just do
Exactly.
more good.
Yeah. Exactly. Yesterday I was listening to another podcast. And she was saying the more you're able to receive, the more you're able to give.
I
And it's
love
so
that.
true because if you close yourself off from receiving, you can't give to others and you can't give back. So it's like you have to allow yourself to receive more and be
Yeah.
open and not be like, oh, I don't deserve this because then you won't be able to help other people as well. So it makes a really big difference.
Yeah, totally. I love that.
Yeah. And what are some of your favorite money rituals or money manifestation techniques that you do?
So I have a weekly routine that I do on Fridays with my money, and it's my financial routine.
Yes, you always
And
talk about this on your podcast.
yes, yes, I'm actually making a planner right now, you guys, where you can actually like learn my whole process and then like do it
Oh,
weekly. So
nice.
stay tuned for that. It's gonna be so fun. But um this routine that I did, I hated it at first because
I remember you saying that.
oh my gosh, because it brings up so much for you. And
Yeah, it
so
does.
it's a physical action that you're taking and it forces you to look at your money and you can't avoid things anymore. And so things like my credit card balances were glaring in my face
Yeah,
and my not I didn't even have savings accounts, okay? Because I was like, why do I need a savings account? Like I don't even have any money to put in there. I didn't
yeah,
even have those. So it was really like glaring and I couldn't avoid my money anymore. I had to
yeah,
look at it and I had to face my thoughts about it. And I had to forgive myself for the debt and the spending and whatever else was going on. And I had to work through, like I didn't want to look at it.
yeah,
Money wasn't my friend, just like you were saying at the beginning of the podcast. Like I was scared to spend it. I was scared to hold it. I was annoyed
yeah,
by taxes and bills and I never had
yeah.
enough. And, imagine if we spoke to a friend like that, like
Exactly,
the,
exactly,
right?
exactly.
Like the relationship wouldn't last. So looking at the money and allocating it and planning it and doing my routine, it forced me to heal my relationship with money and then start to dream again with it because it became
Yeah,
like, wow, like what if I was putting $1,000 a week in this savings account? What if instead of $100 over here, it was 10,000 that was coming in and you get to
yeah.
really get into that expansive place?
Yeah, for sure. I just recently added something into my routine where I write a little paragraph about the relationship I have with money. So I go on about like how money loves me and I love money and I take care of it and I watch it every day. And so that makes a really big difference. And I was listening to your episode with Michaela, who
Yeah.
I'm going on a Zoom call with her tomorrow as well.
Come
Um
on. Oh my gosh, she's my
yeah.
girl. I love
I know
her.
you guys are so funny together. I love the podcast episode. But that one episode you made where you were talking about your financial routine, that same day I started like well, I was never an Excel person, so I tried making a Google Docs of how to manage my money, but then it got too
Yes.
overwhelming. And so I got this Excel sheet from this program that I'm in, and I've been managing my money that way ever since. I do it almost every day. And like the more you do it, the more fun it gets. Cause it's like
Yes.
because for one, I'm tackling out all my debt. So it feels good to see that my debt is like slowly decreasing. And on top of that, I add in the money that I've been like attracting into my life. So it's really fun and nice and rewarding to see that even though a lot of money is going out, it's always coming back in no matter what. So
Yeah,
it's like a sense of relief as well. So it's a really good
totally.
thing to have a money routine where you're looking at your expenses and what money you're circulating and where you're putting money into what savings account, things like that. It's really rewarding. So
Oh my
excited for your
gosh.
planner. That's so
Ah,
nice.
I'm so excited you actually went and did like take some action from that. I'm like,
Oh, I did.
yes.
Yeah, I really did. No, I have a note on my phone like specifically for that one episode where I took down all the notes and I posted it on my story. Michaela reposted it. She was like, "Oh my God, like you really took steps." And I was like, "Hell yeah." Like
Hell
why would I not
yeah.
listen to you guys? Like I'm doing whatever you guys are doing. Like literally
Oh my gosh, it's
like
so good. And I am obsessed with it. So I've been doing this for 3 years now. I have not missed a Friday. I don't
oh,
want to.
nice.
It's like, why? I don't want to. Like my savings
Exactly.
accounts are freaking lit. I
Yeah.
don't want to miss that.
No, honestly, that really is nice. That's so funny. And I also started naming my savings accounts too. So
Yes.
I name like $10,000 fund, or I'll name like I call my bills blessings because at the end of the day they are
Oh,
blessings. So I'll say
I
like,
love that.
yeah, my my business blessings or my checking account are my assets. Like I don't name them like the regular name so that I don't tie like any negativity towards them. So
Oh, I love that. That's
it's
so
made a
good.
big difference.
I'm
Yeah.
borrowing that blessings. Mhm. I'm changing my Excel sheet when we get off here. Life
That's
blessings and
good.
business blessings and
Yeah,
government
literally.
blessings.
Literally, like that's just the name of all of my accounts. Like I just, yeah, it makes it a lot easier.
So good.
It is. And so how can people start manifesting today if they wanted to?
Heal your beliefs with your money. So you heard us talk about, which I love that we both had different things we had to heal because I feel like people
Yeah,
are going to get so much from this episode. Like you're going to fall in one of those categories likely. And so write out the things that are standing out to you from our episode that we said that were holding us back. And how can you choose a new story around those? Because it all starts with a decision of just deciding to be someone else and think different
exactly.
thoughts.
Yeah, for sure. Have you heard of the book Money Love before?
I haven't.
Really? Wait, okay. I want to show it to you. I'm gonna get up and
Yes, grab it. I'm literally writing this down. Money Love.
so I was listening to an audiobook on YouTube by, Louise Hayes.
Yes,
Yeah, so she had a book called How You Can Heal Your Life. And I was
such
listening
a good
to it,
book.
and she mentioned this book that she read that literally changed her life when it came to money. And this has been the best money book that I've ever read in my whole entire life.
Okay, I'm
And
literally
like,
buying it.
it's so good. It's by his name is Jerry Gillis or Giles. I don't know how to say it. And it was only like I want to say $8 on Amazon. And he just like
Amazing.
breaks down like and it's like it's from the 70s. So it's like it looks very like spaced out and stuff. It's just like a very
Love
easy
this.
read. And he just talks about like how to love money, how to build your relationship with money. He goes over like some prosperity proclamations. And like it was so interesting. I'm actually gonna read it again. And
Okay.
it's been like an amazing book to like just to learn how to love money. Like it's really crazy.
I literally manifested this today because this week I was like, I want a new good money book. There's three that I read all the time. And I was like,
Yeah,
we need another one on the field here. So this is so good. I'm literally
that's
gonna buy
good.
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice, nice. Yeah, yeah, it's really good. It's really good. So I also wanted to ask you, so for people that are trying to come up with different ideas as to how they would act in the day of life of a millionaire, what is a typical day for you?
Oh my gosh. It's probably not what people think. Like I used to think like, oh, millionaires, they must have like a chef bring their
Yeah.
breakfast down. Like it's not. I don't buy a Lamborghini on a random Tuesday. Like
Yeah.
my day is pretty normal. Like I wake up at 6 a.m., come down, spend time with Matt and our new puppy. And then when Matt's out doing his barn work, which is so funny, like people probably can't relate to this. Anyways, he goes out to the barn and I get ready for the day. We have breakfast together every day. And then I sit down at like 9 o'clock and I do my 3 hour work day, which is kind of like my signature thing in my business. And then I do what I want for the afternoon, which is like shopping or house things, or like in the summer we do a lot outside here at the farm. And it's it's just nonchalant. It's more of me. Like I know
Yeah.
I've said that so much, but it's just like it didn't change me. I still do the things I love. I just get to do more of it now.
Yeah, that's like the most exciting thing that I'm looking forward to because I want to have a 4 hour workday where I'm
Love
seeing
that.
clients from 10 a.m. to 2. I have a morning routine and then I just do like whatever I want for the rest of the day. And I feel like people think that millionaires have to like hustle and constantly work hard, but you are literally chill as fuck on a farm with your husband and your soon to come baby and your dog,
Yeah.
and you're just living your best life. And it's like it can all just be so simple. Like you don't have to constantly be like hustling and like working long hours and things like it can just be so simple. And the more time you have, the more you're able to really do what you want to do. And that's exactly what I'm looking forward to. It's just having the time to like go and get a random massage or go and do a random Pilates class or go and get a smoothie in the middle of the day. Like it's just like it's the freedom that is really what I think is what abundance is all about, is just the freedom that you have.
Yeah. You get the choice. Like
Yeah.
Michaela, who you're interviewing on your next Zoom, she said to me once, she was just like, millionaires and billionaires could not physically exist if it was about the amount of hours that they had to put in. And
Yeah,
I was just like, you're so right. And that like literally changed my whole perspective on being able to work my 3 hour day, your 4 hour day. Like when you do good work, it doesn't have to be at a sacrifice.
exactly. It's just monetizing your passions. It's like the best thing that you can do.
Yeah, and we're so lucky. The internet makes it so easy.
I
Like
know, it
it's
really does.
Yeah, like we're so like it's 2024. Like you can get paid to eat food on YouTube. Like
No,
come on.
literally, like we literally get paid to exist now. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's so good.
That's really good. Okay, so now we're coming to an end on this episode. Do you have any last minute tips or suggestions for manifesting money that you have not already mentioned?
I think I would say when you're getting in the energy of the manifesting, treat it like Amazon. You do not order something from Amazon and wonder if it's going to show up. Like, you
Yeah.
know, when it says it's coming tomorrow, and you just let it go. So, same thing when you're manifesting, especially with money. Like, you ordered it on Amazon, it's coming. Like, can you be that sure of it?
Yeah. For sure, that's really good. And I've heard that before through another manifestation coach where she has her Amazon technique where you just visualize yourself getting that package of whatever you are desiring or manifesting
Right.
and see yourself putting it in the cart, see yourself checking it out and just know that's on the way and just attachment and just wait and just
I love
chill.
that. I love
Yeah.
that. That's so cool. I
Yeah.
didn't know that was a thing.
It's nice. Yeah. So how can people find you on socials? How can people work with you? What programs do you offer? Anything.
Yeah, I would say come over to the podcast, hang out with us over there because I do tons of episodes on this and money.
Yes.
So, the Manifestation and Money Honey podcast, or come follow me on Instagram. And I have tons of ways we can work together, like helping you find your passion so that you can start bringing in money in your own way online, all the way to money mindset work. And there's lots of options.
Okay, great. That's so
Yeah.
great. Thank you so, 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 so much for coming on today. This is a really good
Oh my
conversation.
gosh. Thank you for having me. This was awesome. This was really
Of
good.
course. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
really excited to post this.
it's good.
That's good. Okay. Well, bye, guys, and thank you all for joining us today.